Guys, I want to show you this setup that I've been doing, and it's been catching some quality fish. A lot of the times I'm using that 1/8 ounce jig head with that little soft plastic on it, and sometimes they get a little finicky. And what this rig does, I don't even know what this rig's called, but I call it the ultimate setup. So what I typically do is I usually have braid. I mean, I have braid on right now, and I go all the way to a fluorocarbon leader, and that fluorocarbon leader is typically like 12 to 13 feet long. But as you can see right here, it's not long at all. So I'll vary it to about a foot to about 18 inches. What I do next is I have this braided line tied directly to a swivel. I don't know if you can see that, but directly to a swivel. This is actually like a metal little cylinder weight. I saw it at Academy, and I'll put everything down in the description. But the first benefit is that you have just a small little leader, and you have that sensitivity because you're using so much braid. You're not using as much fluorocarbon, so you'll feel that sensitivity. It increases sensitivity. And then right here, I got a little swivel, and that swivel is going to prevent some line twist. So if that bait gets jacked up or it's not coming back right, this is just swiveling or it's spinning right here at the swivel, and it's not really twisting up your line. And then on top of that, you can adjust the leader length. So if you want it just a little bit longer, you want to change out the head, you might want to go with a 1/16 or a 1/32. You can put that bait down there. But what this does is, this is an 1/8 ounce right here, this metal weight, and I think it's by Eagle Claw. I'll put all this stuff down in the description, and I'll take some pictures of it for you too. But that small little cylinder right there is giving you that castability and getting that lighter bait down there. So if that jig head that I'm typically using is not working and they seem like they're following it or they're just being a little bit finicky, you throw this down there, and then you have this smaller little weight kind of pendulum down into that structure, or even just kind of keeping it above them. You know, it increases, you know, your bites just a little bit more when those fish are just a little bit more finicky. And I put a bobber stop on the top of it, slide it down, just so it's not moving around as much. And I'm going to show you the other one that I have rigged up too. So this is the other one that I have set up right here. As you can see, I have a bobber stop, I have a glass bead, a brass little bead, like a cylinder type bead, and then another bobber stop, then the swivel, and then my fluorocarbon line. But what that's going to do is you can adjust this bobber stop. So if you just want that extra weight, you can, but it's going to allow you to see that a little bit better on your forward facing sonar, so you can kind of see where you're going, your bait tracking, and seeing where this is compared to where the bait is, so you can try to trick those fish. You don't want this right here going into those fish, so you keep that above the fish and allow this smaller bait. So this is I think a 1/32. It's super small, and this bait right here is I think 1.25 inches, so it's super small. So this weight right here, I think it's about 1/8 of an ounce. So that gets down there, and then this bait right here will slowly fall down into the strike zone. And sometimes you can just allow it to just sit there in front of them, and they can't stand that, and they'll tear it up. But this rig right here, I'm calling it the ultimate rig. This is exactly how I set it up. But one benefit about having that bead and that brass is that you can slide that bobber stop up just a tad bit to where you can hear that clicking and clacking to kind of draw those fish in just a little bit. But if you don't want to hear all that, you just go ahead and push that down. And like I said, the benefit of having the bead and that brass is that you can see just a little bit better on that forward facing sonar. So when I'm out there and I'm catching them on just that jig head, that 1/8 ounce with that dirty bait slayer, and they start to turn off, man, I'll pull this right here and I will start catching them, because the bait's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more enticing. And if they've seen that 1/8 come through, and they come through and I'm catching them, I bring this right here. It's just a little bit smaller. But this fluorocarbon's about 6 pound to 10 pound braid. I have it on a medium heavy powered spinning rod and just a 2500 series reel, and I'll link everything down below. But this right here, I call it the ultimate rig, because when everything else fails, this right here absolutely catches them. Now I'm going to put the ultimate crappie rig to the test. Watch this.
There it goes. They're already chasing it. Down there about 40. So then I want to go ahead and start to shake it.
it is. What'd I say? There it is. The ultimate crappie rig. Had it on that small little jig. There it is right there. We threw that jig in there a couple times. We picked this rig up right here and whacked them. It's a good crappie right there. Probably about 12, maybe 13. Let's go. And like I mentioned, if you're looking for a new rig, a new way of catching these crappie, you need to try this. It saves you line, it saves you twist. It's very, very easy to identify. You can adjust your weights. You know, you can go lighter, you can go a little bit heavier. Well, since we have a lighter little jig head, we go a little bit heavier to get that bait down there in the strike zone. And right there, man, we just whacked them. The ultimate rig. I don't even know what this rig's called. I call it the ultimate.